Welcome back, TW fans. Thomas here with this week's episode of What's New at Tackle Warehouse. We got a ton of cool stuff to talk to you about today. Some cool new plastics, a hot new spinnerbait, kind of a crazy funky new crankbait. So just a ton of cool stuff to talk about. So make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end here. We're gonna start today, however, with a new rod from Shimano. We got the new updated SLX A Series of rods. I have the casting rod in my hand right here now, but we also have a spinning rod. We also have a crankbait rod and a swim bait rod, all with that new SLX design on it. So a ton of different rods, all technique specific to make sure you can do everything on the water. So I really like the updates to this one. I mean, first, right out of the bag here, I was just kind of struck with the new cosmetic updates. So they have a cool, nice little like kind of cobalt blue section of the blank. They got some blue highlights here at the reel seat and at the first guide foot, and just some cool little hits back there. And they got a laser etched SLX in the reel handle. So just kind of cool new cosmetic looks to it. But much more importantly, on the performance side of things, they beefed these things up. I like them. They're really, really light. I was surprised at how light these are for a budget rod. So I was pretty impressed with that right off the bat. That comes from the 24-ton carbon blank. So all these rods across the series have that same 24-ton carbon blank, with the exception of the crankbait rod, which comes with a really nice glass blank. So you're just gonna get more of a parabolic action to it, suited to those crankbaits. But all the blanks in these things, super lightweight, and they also come with Shimano's Dia-Flash technology. With that Dia-Flash technology, from the butt of the rod up here to the first guide, it's gonna have a carbon spiral wrap to it. So we get kind of these X-looking lines going all the way up to the first guide here. That's gonna do a couple of things. One, it's gonna reduce the twist, and it's also gonna give you more pulling power when this thing is under load. So yes, it's lightweight, of course it's sensitive, but you're also gonna get some exceptional power out of that Dia-Flash technology. Guides themselves, they're great titanium oxide guides, so you're gonna get expert line management, whisper quiet casts, really comfortable reel seat with a nice real locking nut on here that we talked about earlier with those blue highlights. And then, as I mentioned, those EVA foam grips, really nice for all weather gripping ability, whether you got, you know, some sudden storms rolling through, or it's just really hot, sweaty hands. And then also, as I mentioned, that cool little laser etched SLX logo in that butt of the rod. So just really nice, you know, revamped new series, the SLX series. And I mean, one of the best things about those things, they all come in right at $100. I think the swim bait rod comes in at $109.99. The rest of them come right in at that $100 level. So if you're looking to outset your whole lineup of rods, that's a good place to start. So definitely check those out from Shimano. All right, let's get into some other stuff here. We're gonna look at a new storage option. This one from 6 Cents. We have these 6 Cents bait chamber boxes. So again, just kind of like those SLX, this is available in a whole series of bait chamber boxes. Right here, I have the medium crankbaits, but they got everything. They have jerkbait boxes. They have, you know, swim bait specific to their trace and some of their other swim bait options out there. So some of them are very specific to, you know, what bait you're using, but like this one, just about any medium crankbait is gonna fit in here. So I mean, I'm thinking about this maybe for the crawlers, maybe a ton of 6 Cents fantastic crankbaits, but you just have a ton of options for stuff that you can store in here. So as you can see, what makes these a little bit unique is it actually comes with a high density foam in here, which is gonna be really nice to keep these things separated from each other. Say goodbye to those tangled hooks, say goodbye to rusted out hooks, because this is also gonna keep them dry, separate from each other, just the ultimate in protection. So absolutely, if you're using, you know, higher end, expensive crankbaits, but just any of your favorite crankbaits, especially if you've got a whole pile of them, and like I said, you wanna keep them separate, this is a great option for that. So take a look for all your hard bait storage needs. Like I said, jerk baits, swim baits, you know, crankbaits of different diving depths, you know, different sizes. They can cover it all with this new bait chamber box from 6 Cents. We got a couple other things to look at for you from 6 Cents, this time to catch the fish. We're gonna start with their new spinnerbait. So this is the 6 Cents Divine spinnerbait. I like this thing a lot just because it's what a crankbait should be. High quality components, no gimmicks, nothing crazy to it, just a really nice spinnerbait. Everything you're looking for. From the blades, nice premium blades, they're gonna throw a ton of light. They got really nice swivels on there. This thing's gonna start rotating from the second it enters the water till you terminate your retrieve after your cast. So just a really, you know, nice blades, nice swivels on there. Stainless steel heat treated wire that's gonna give you enough flex to really kind of enhance the vibration of those blades, but still be strong enough if you're hooking up with fish near grass, near timber, and you need to haul them away from that snaggy cover. That wire is still gonna be strong enough for you to pull those grumpy fish away from it. The head itself, nice bait fish profile, got some 3D detailing to it, you know, raised gill rakers, nice holographic eyes, and then the skirting. The skirting is hand tied. I love it when companies do hand tied skirts. There is nothing worse than when you're on a spinnerbait bite and it is just really, you know, every cast, you're getting big fish, a lot of fish, and they pull that skirt off of there and and for whatever reason that shuts it down. They don't want that naked spinnerbait. There's nothing worse than that. So a hand-tied skirt on there is gonna really hold it firm, bite after bite, fish after fish. That's nice. Screw lock keeper system on here to keep that trailer firmly planted on there, and then just a really premium, razor sharp, powerful hook. Again, it's stout enough to pull fish away from cover. So it's a good spinnerbait, man. Everything that a spinnerbait should be. Last thing from 6th Sense, we got a new plastic from them. We got the 6th Sense Juggler minnow. I like this thing because it's super versatile. They kind of geared this one for the angler that's maybe looking to reduce the amount of overall plastics they're bringing. So rather than bringing, 50 bags of different plastics, maybe you can just bring a few of these because you can do a ton with it. So it has that nice baitfish profile to it with a really keeled body design. So if you're kind of dropping this thing, maybe vertically fishing it on a Demiki rig or something, it's going to give it kind of a side-to-side body roll, which is really nice. But a ton of different, baitfish anatomically accurate features to this one. The overall shape, of course, the profile, and then this little forked tail at the base. The other thing I like about that tail is they included a little kind of bulbous nub right in front of that forked tail. So even if you're dead sticking this thing, just a do nothing bait, it's still gonna kick and wiggle and move with just the current of the water. I like that a lot. So this is gonna be cool on a drop shot. Maybe you want a Carolina rig it. Maybe on a little Ned head, or like I mentioned earlier, a Demiki rig. You can do a ton with this thing, but I mean, maybe you're looking for something to pair with that divine spinnerbait. You can throw this on the back of a spinnerbait, on the back of a vibrating jig. I'm probably gonna throw it on a scrounger bait. I really like those scrounger baits. I think they get a lot of bites. So there's just a ton that you can do with this thing. So a super versatile little bait. So that's a cool new one from 6th Sense. All right, we're gonna move away from 6th Sense, but stick with soft plastics and stick with versatility. We got a new one from Arsenal Fishing. This is the Arsenal Fishing Ballistic Ned. So Ned is in the name, sure, but I like this one, as I kind of mentioned, really, really versatile. So it's longer than most Ned baits that you see on there, and I just think that means you can do a lot more with it. So absolutely, pair it with your favorite Ned jig head. You have the solid body up front before it gets to this really aggressively ribbed section down below, which is gonna add a ton of action, but it's also gonna allow you this firmer top section here. It's gonna really accept any Ned jig head that you wanna put through it, but you can also trim it down if you wanna make this thing smaller. Or you can leave it full size and kind of just like that 6th Sense soft plastic we were talking about. I think this would be great on the back of a vibrating jig, maybe your favorite chatterbait or whatever vibrating jig you're using. These things have killer colorways. Right here I got kind of a chartreusey belly and then more of that watermelon green pumpkin top, some cool copper flake in it, but they have a ton of great colors, and you can see just in my hand, this thing is wiggling a ton. So you're getting a lot of movement, a lot of action out of it, great colors, and some awesome scent to it as well. So if you're looking for a new Ned plastic that you can use in some other techniques, check out this new one from Arsenal Fishing. All right, we are going to take a break from soft plastics and take a look at some hard baits. We got a new one from Freedom Tackle. I kind of teased this one at the beginning here. This thing's new, this thing's unique. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I haven't fished it yet, so I don't know quite how effective this thing's gonna be in the water, but I'm intrigued. Certainly color me intrigued. So right out the gate of the Freedom Ultra Diver Shad crankbait, you're gonna notice that bill. So it's got that clover style bill, something that I haven't really seen before. They say it's engineered to make it dive really, really, really quick and just plunge it down to the strike zone. So if you're looking for something that at the end of the cast, you need that thing down to the bottom as quick as possible to spend as much time in the strike zone as possible, this is an interesting one to look at. That clover bill is also naturally, as you might imagine, gonna give it some crazy deflections. And we know with crankbaiting, that's where a lot of the bites come from, right after you slam it into some timber, maybe a boulder, some chunk rock, whatever hard cover you're working this thing through. This thing's gonna really, really erratically deflect and draw some more bites. Nice body style on here. They use a sonic welding process to really give you a strong, durable body, and some killer finishes on this one. Some nice detailing on there, 3D gill rakers again, some eyes, and then some sticky sharp VMC treble hooks. So you're not gonna have to replace the hardware right out of the box on this one. So an intriguing new crankbait. If you guys have tried this one, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Does it really dive down as quick as they say it's going to? If not, definitely pick you up some and give it a try. All right, next up, we got a new piece of terminal from Warbaits. We got the Warbaits neck breaker swinging jig head. Another cool one. I like swinging jig heads, those wobble heads a lot for, just any of my, if I'm working like a craw retriever on there, craw plastic, anything like that. But you can absolutely use these for swim baits, all those types of things as well. So this one's actually designed to be super weedless. So you kind of see you have an aggressively sloped nose on this one. I think that's gonna be awesome for going over maybe some of the chunk rocks, some bigger boulders, some hard timber. It's just gonna bounce over things really, really well with that sloped nose. Also really nice just head design. You got some 3D features to it. Behind the head, what my favorite part is about this one is the hook is actually connected with a split ring. So that's just gonna give you the freedom to swap out this hook. You know, you got a nice EWG on here, which is gonna be perfect for slithering through vegetation with a paddle tail, or maybe, you know, a little creature bait, something like that. But you can absolutely switch this thing out to maybe a standard worm hook if you wanna just change the look, change the action, change your overall footprint of this thing. But you know, you can leave it as is, or if you're just looking to get a new hook on there, something that's super sharp, you know, return it back to its original pristine sharpness. I just think it's really nice when it's not, you know, welded on there. It's gonna make it really easy for you to swap out that hook. So it's just a cool, you know, new swinging head that's gonna give a ton of motion to whatever your favorite plastic trailer is. So definitely check these ones out from Warbait. All right. Gonna finish up with a couple of soft plastics, maybe one that you can pair up with that neck breaker swinging jig head. New from Berkley, we have the Berkley Maxscent. This is the curly bones. So this is also gonna be awesome for, you know, some of those multi-species anglers. Some of you guys that are doing some inshore fishing, maybe you're chasing some redfish, absolutely in freshwater as well, smallmouth, largemouth, all of them. Killer trailer. This thing could be awesome on that swinging head, or maybe the Divine spinnerbait again, just a great universal trailer that you can use for a lot of things. You don't have to use this thing as a trailer as well. It's gonna be fantastic as a standalone bait. Whether you want to Carolina rig it, maybe a larger drop shot or power shot, there's just a ton of things you can do. You have this curly tail on there that's gonna give you a ton of action. Obviously some bright, loud colors on this one, but they have a lot of colors available. And then it has that Maxscent in it. It's gonna really expand your strike zone, get those fish to hang on a little bit longer, give you a greater chance to get a hook in them. So definitely check this one out. Last one up from Berkley. We have the Berkley Maxscent Little Super Trooper. Now this may look really familiar to some of you guys out there because they do have the Little Trooper as well. The Little Super Trooper, the only two real differences in design is they changed up the tail a little bit and then they gave you some cupped claws up front. So rather than the other one that has kind of more subtle bulbous claws, these cupped claws are gonna kick wildly and independently. You can see they're not attached, so they're gonna just give you a ton of action to it. So you're gonna pack, you know, kind of a bigger, more action heavy trailer into obviously more of your finesse baits. This thing comes in at 2.5 inches, so it's gonna be perfect for your little Ned heads, whether you might maybe wanna do a little drop shot, finesse shaky head. You're just gonna get a little bit more action out of these. But again, most importantly, comes loaded with that Maxscent technology that is just gonna absolutely expand your strike zone, really pull fish in from a long way off just with that crazy scent and attractant alone. So it's also gonna get them to hang on a little bit longer. You know, maybe wintertime if you're Ned fishing, you just need a second longer to get that hook through the fish's mouth. This is gonna be key for you. So just a cool, again, kind of versatile little bait, nice finesse bait with a ton of Maxscent technology in it. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up this week's episode of What's New at Tackle Warehouse. As always, thank you for tuning in, and as always, to learn more about these products or to shop for them, make sure to click the link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to our page so you can see more just like it, and let us know in the comments below which one of these you're most excited to try. Or like I said, if you've tried this crazy new Freedom crankbait, let us know how it works for you guys. All right, we'll see y'all next week.